here's why you should listen to me. Here's my story. So let's start right here. And the reason why I do that, Mr. Larry, is because if I walk up on stage like this, and I tell people I had 3 strokes in 24 hours and so forth and so on, they won't believe it. Right? They go, no way. I've had people say, oh, you must have had a minor stroke, right? But they see the video, Mr. Larry, that grabs their attention right away.
Welcome to the Shattered Mindset Podcast, wisdom from life's turning points and defining moments. I'm your host, Melvin Larry, and today's episode is just really personal because this one is close to my heart here. I mean, I hope that's okay to say. I'm sitting down with a man I not only respected for years, but one who's walked beside me, challenged me, inspired me, and in many ways, show me what resilience really looks like. He was my leadership and still is my leadership in the direct marketing space. But more than that, he's been a mentor and a friend, a brother to me. Terrance Minnoy is a 3-time stroke survivor, a certified speaker, coach. He's a sales powerhouse and the author of a book, Indifferent Strokes, Embracing Life's Adversities, a basketball referee. But what makes his story so powerful beyond what I've already said isn't just the survival, it's the recovery, the reinvention, and the relentless pursuit of purpose. He's faced the kind of battles that test every fiber of your mindset and came out the other side with fire in his voice and clarity in his mission. He's a father of a beautiful young teenager and an adult son. He's a man of faith and someone who knows what it means to live your miracle. So if you've ever found yourself trying to bounce back, figure it out, push for it, or just get back up one more time, this conversation is for you. So let's get into it. I want to introduce you to my friend of a long time, Mr. Terrance Miracle Minnoy. How you doing, sir?
Mr. Larry, Mr. Larry, Mr. Larry. So excited to be on the line with you, man. And I'll tell you what, look, during our short time together, look, adding value, that's my hope. You see, because I knew this was our purpose when I survived those 3 strokes. See, I consider it my badge of honor.
Yeah.
The showcasing of brilliance, self-mastery, hope, optimism, and resilience. See, Mr. Larry, I know you have it too. You're great. There's no doubt. See, I come to inspire your audience, inspire them to live it out. Set your miracle in motion. That's the slogan of choice. See, I set my miracle in motion by utilizing my voice. So, Mr. Larry, let's engage, just have a little fun and, and share some wisdom to folks out there. I'm just so excited to be on your podcast. I've looked up to you for so many years. And anything I can do for you, anytime you call, anytime, I got you, brother, because you are that type of person, just a phenomenal leader, father. It's been a true example in my life, and I thank God for our connecting back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much because, you just have always been there and always inspired. And, let's just we're going to kind of be a here and there a little bit, but let's just start here. When you hear or say the phrase, live your miracle, what does that really mean to you personally? Not necessarily the brand, but the man behind it.
That's a great question. I have always seen myself as a miracle in some type of way, right? Maybe it is the way that I was brought up and the things that I came through as I grew up. But then once I went through some challenges that we're going to eventually talk about, I really had to put things in motion, as they say. So really, to me, setting your miracle in motion in each and every person, there is something special in them, right?
Yeah.
There's some type of talent. There's a certain energy. There's a certain aura that they have. There's a certain thing that you bring to the audience, you bring to a room that's special about you. And setting that in motion is something that we really want to push people to do. Why? Because we know a lot of people are stagnant because of circumstances or whatever, or just a certain doubt or belief in themselves. And I just think being able to set that in motion, set that miracle, right, in motion is key to us living a fulfilled life, really maximizing our potential and, and being the best that we can be for the world.
Yeah, yeah, that's so good. Now you we've known each other for a while, and just we go back 20 plus years, and I've seen the businessman, I've seen the mentor, I've seen the motivator. But I tell you what, the stroke survivor, well, that really shook me there. That took me down a little bit there. So, what was after that happened? I mean, you're a strong, healthy guy running up and down basketball courts, and working out on a regular basis, just keeping yourself fit, keeping yourself strong and healthy. Young man, can't even see where 50 looks like from where you are, and something like that happens. Uh, what was going through your mind after that, and how did your mindset shift from that moment?
Well, you knew me for over a decade prior to the strokes happening. So you saw, witnessed a lot of personal development, personal growth in myself. Um, when I was introduced to direct sales, folks that we love dearly, I really learned about reading books, listening to certain speakers, getting certain things from events and things like that. So this was in practice for me for over a decade. And I use it in my professional career. I use it in my avocation, so forth and so on. So when the strokes surprisingly happened on February 9th, 2015, what I realized, Mr. Larry, and what I didn't want to do was I didn't want to abandon the ship. And what I mean by that is that everything, all the personal development, personal growth over the years was poured into me. I didn't want to abandon all of that stuff when I went through something tough. You see, it's so easy for us to, when things are good, right, to say, oh man, this book or this saying or this quote, we all rah-rah about that. But really, we do all of that stuff. We pour all of that into our stuff, into ourselves for when things are tough, when things get tough. So when it happened, the first thing I initially thought was I didn't want to abandon the ship. I was already on the ship of personal growth and personal development and positivity. I didn't want to abandon that when things went tough. And that's what the main thing that I prayed for. And by God's grace, I started recovering after, a month or so. And I just continued to stay in my personal development and growth. And so I said all that to say this. I'm so thankful that prior to the strokes, I was already reading. I was already listening to the right content. I was already working out, which the doctors told me that's the reason why I recovered so well is because I was already physically active. So many things that I took away from leaders like yourself, our connection in direct sales as well. Everything I made sure I practiced it afterwards as I recovered. So was it a surprise to me? Absolutely. Did I ask God why? No, no, I did not do that. Uh, I just embraced it and said, hey, I'm ready to take on this challenge. And because of that mindset, I believe that's the reason why I slowly started recovering and getting back.
That's remarkable in and of itself. Something you said when you talked about what the doctors told you. Can you just talk a little bit about the value of taking care of yourself physically? Because see, some people will say, okay, they look at it, we got the half full and the half empty glass. And so they say, well, you were
Mhm.
healthy, so how come this happened to you? But on the other hand, because you were healthy, when situation came, you were able to deal with that situation, endure that situation, and not have it to affect you in the way it might have helped had affected someone else. My father
Yes.
many years ago, even at his age at the time, he had to have a bypass surgery, and right after the surgery, he was back just like that. I mean, recovery very fast. And at that time, he was right around his 80th birthday. But they
Wow.
said that he had taken such good care of himself that he healed like a man much younger. Can you
Hmm.
just kind of talk a little bit about, because you've been working out forever, talk a little about the value in that and how that plays into things?
Yeah, man, that's an awesome question. And let me tell you, I thank God that I got involved in athletics at an early age. I played pretty much basketball since adolescence. I was really pretty good at that. I played football as well, but I hurt my knee, and I said that's it because I didn't want to jeopardize my basketball. And luckily for me, I got a Division I scholarship to play basketball, so I played basketball and got a college degree. Came back, and when I started working in corporate America, I just wanted to make sure I just stayed healthy. And so I stayed with it. So I've always had a regular workout regimen over the years. Maybe I didn't always eat the best, but I always worked out. More so for the mental cleansing of working out. Especially now, like it's really a mental thing. I got to do this from a mental. But I definitely feel or know for sure that all of us from an early age or if we're even older, if we're not regularly walking as we age, we want to do some type of resistance training as well, right? And of course, you want to eat better as well. I just know that's the importance of that even more so. But that was definitely my saving grace, I believe, was this long history of working out and being consistent. And obviously, since then, I've even taken it up even another level as far as taking care of my health and being physical and things like that. So I just think everybody out there should definitely prioritize their health. Again, I know we talk spiritual. We know that that's the foundation. You definitely want to be on point when it comes to that. But second has to be your health. Because what I learned, Mr. Larry, let me tell you, I when I had this the day I had the stroke, the first of the three, um, earlier that day I had put up a post on Facebook, and it was a rapper's line, and what he said was, ask Steve Jobs. Wealth doesn't buy you health, right? He's
Mm,
talking about Steve Jobs, and
yeah.
and I write and I posted that. I just thought it was great, and then who knew that 24 hours later
Wow.
I'd be fighting for my life in the hospital. This rapper was named Pusha T is his name, and so I found it so ironic. But here's the deal: usually that's a cliche, right? Oh, well, it doesn't buy you health. Take it. I actually lived it because at that time when I made that post, guess what I was doing? I was chasing wealth. I was working in
Mm,
corporate America as a pharmaceutical sales rep, going to see doctors. It was a beautiful day. My bank account was fat. My house looked great. All of that stuff. I was chasing it, getting it done. And boom, once the health issue happened, all of that came to a halt. And obviously that became more important. So to all your listeners out there, and I know you advocate this on Shattered Mindset all the time, but I'm a true example of someone who supposedly has all the trappings of success, so forth and so on, and it came to an automatic stop the very next day, actually fighting for my life. Left side totally paralyzed, one eye going this way, thought it was going to be stuck that way forever, you know. But yeah, so taking care of our health, especially as African American males, right? Really everybody, right? But for us, we came up eating certain foods, you
Yep.
know, and
And we
so
meet to eat.
yeah, absolutely. And so we definitely want to make sure that we stay on top of our health right now. So if you're in a place where you're not where you want to be health-wise, just start taking steps. Start adding up those small wins, as I like to call them. Start stacking them up, and eventually you get to where you want to be so that you can live a long life.
So I appreciate that. And people now, you're a speaker now, or just kind of traveling
Mhm.
all over the place and
Mhm.
sharing your message. And a lot of people they see that polished version of you right now. They
Yeah.
don't really understand how that time when your eye was going the other way is the
Yeah.
reason that polished version is standing in front of them right now.
Yes,
So
sir.
there's that saying that they see your glory but don't know your story. But what you've
Mhm.
done is you've taken
Still
that
there.
adversity where it says that every adversity there's a seed of an equal or greater benefit. And so you've
Uh-huh.
taken that adversity and you have made it a key part of your ability and willingness to share your story. Tell me a little bit about how you have been able to leverage that story into touching other people's lives as a speaker.
Wow, wow. No, it was Ben Franklin, I believe, or Albert Einstein who said, adversity introduces a man to himself,
Mm,
right? That was me. I was definitely introduced to myself. So you really see or know, find out who you really are when you go through something tough. One thing I realized, Mr. Larry, after my situation, there were so many parallels to my health matter and how I overcame that and how those parallels match up in life as well, match up in your career, in your relationship as well. So I realized that wow, I'm dealing with something physically, right? I physically had a stroke, but actually I can actually help other people who've had other strokes in their lives. What do I
mm,
mean by that? A stroke is a brain attack, but we've all had different types of attacks in our lives, whether they be physical attacks, financial attacks, relationship attacks. These are different strokes. I like to call them strokes when I stand in front of a room talking. We have relationship strokes, career strokes, so forth and so on. So I'm not the only stroke survivor, in this room, is what I like to say. And so what I realized, Mr. Larry, is that using that story, combining it with my experience in corporate America, I've been in sales for over 20, almost 30 years now. My success there, along with the athletic background as well, I realized that this story can actually infiltrate every area of our lives. And there's some parallels in it that I could use that can serve people in every area of their lives, whether it be an individual, whether it be a team as well. And people have really embraced that, especially after 2020,
yeah.
especially after the COVID. The best people that came through that is those folks with emotional resilience, with grit, with perseverance. Those we used to call them soft skills, Mr. Larry, but now they're the main thing that employers that we look for, even when we're out doing our business, right? We want people who can take a licking and keep on ticking, as we used to say, right?
Yeah.
So I just believe that my story is familiar to a lot of people because first of all, we've all had somebody in the family probably had a stroke or a friend or something like that, or had some type of medical situation, and bringing that kind of those parallels, those takeaways from that situation, and bringing it into my business, into my personal life, and corporate audiences. It's went over very well. So I use it, man.
That's so good. And as you talk about the different types of strokes in your book called Indifferent Strokes, I think
Yes,
that's so
sir.
good. Great book. But as you as you talk about that people have different types of strokes in their lives, just like when people have physical strokes and different people have physical strokes, you came back strong from that.
Yeah,
Some people, every people come back at different levels. Some never come back from
yeah,
that.
absolutely.
All right. Uh, at the same time, there are people who have some of those other types of strokes, emotional strokes, and different things like that you talked about that come back at different places, some never at all. When you're as a speaker who's addressing those areas that were how you were brought there because of your primarily because of your physical situation, medical situation, how are you reaching out to people or into people, let me say, about those other stroke situations and how to recover from them?
Absolutely, man. That's a great question. What I initially do whenever I do a keynote, and you see me do one, at least virtually, you see me do one. I promise you, I'm better in person. But
You were great.
uh, but I always start out, Mr. Larry, by kind of leveling the playing field in the sense of I let the audience know that we're here. I'm here. I'm not here to talk about necessarily the X's and O's of your business. Okay, but I'm here to talk about you. And when I'm able to, when I do that, I kind of, the audience relates to me, right? So I just try to get on their level, make sure that we can connect, because sometimes people think when they see a speaker who's done something special or won some type of award that they're different than anybody else or something super special, or I can't be like that. I can't do that. No, they're just like you, right? That use their miracle, right, and put it in motion, did some things, right? So I try to let the audience know there. So I let them know I'm here to talk about you. Here to talk about the spiritual you, the mental you, everything about you. And by the way, here's why you should listen to me, right? I'm hoping that I add some value to you. Here's why you should listen to me. Here's my story. So let's start right here. What I like to do, Mr. Larry, is I have a video that plays before I speak most of the time. And the reason why I do that, Mr. Larry, is because if I walk up on stage like this and I tell people I had 3 strokes in 24 hours and so forth and so on, they won't believe it. Right? They go, no way.
Can't
There's
see
no,
it. They
oh,
believe what they see.
I've had people say, oh, you must have had a minor stroke, right? But they see the video, Mr. Larry, that grabs their attention right away. I'm grabbing attention right away. And that helps me be able to give them some how-tos when they deal with these strokes. And they're like, so here's my physical stroke, but I've had other strokes in my life. And this formula that I'm going to share with you, these antidotes that I want to share with you, serve me not only in the physical stroke, but let's say I'm talking to a sales organization. Let me share with you how it helped me when I had a stroke in sales, when I had a stroke in a relationship, whatever it may be. I can cater this to any type of audience that I'm speaking to and bring home a strong message of resilience, not only survival, but surthrival. Because what
Survival.
you said to me, you said, man, you've come through, and you've always said it all through the years. Man, you've come so strong. You just, I didn't want to survive, Mr. Larry. I wanted to thrive.
Mm.
And you've been a witness to this. Every area in my life has been enhanced since the strokes in 2015.
Mm.
I wanted to use it. I made more money in corporate America than I ever have after the strokes. In our business opportunity, I continue to get paid and make money after the strokes, even when I had to take my foot off the gas.
Mm-hmm.
This book, Indifferent Strokes, wasn't around until after the strokes. This company, Miracle Minnoy Motivation, wasn't around until after the strokes. Why? I decided to not only use my story, use my pain, but I wanted to thrive, Mr. Larry. I didn't want to just survive. And I think that is why when I get in front of audiences, it moves people to take action in their lives, because I talk about having a sense of urgency
Yeah.
in doing so. So
Yeah, I love that. Look, that's so good. So let's talk about your kids as it relates to that, because healing is one thing when it's personal, but how did, becoming a stroke survivor, sur-thriver, how did it
yes, sir.
impact how you parent, and how did it affect your relationship with your kids? Because I know that your son had a big part in, that whole, how that
Yes.
situation played out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great question. And I'm gonna tell you right now that this is going to be great, for your audience to understand, because I've heard you even talk about it on the Shattered Mindset about, just how things happen in life. We may not like it, but there's a plan to this thing. There's a plan to this thing. And let me share this with you. My oldest son at that time, I want to say is 25, 26 years old, something like that. He had never lived with me full time. I've always co-parented. He went through a situation, a legal situation, and when he came through that, he called me up. He said, "Hey, Dad, I just want to get on my feet. Can I come stay with you for a little while, just till I get things?" I said, "Man, no problem. Come on, I got a room for you and everything." This was 2 weeks prior to having the strokes. I actually had the main stroke at my home, right? I called his name, and luckily he came in the room and called the EMTs to come get me, so forth and so on. I said that to say this. Um, if he hadn't been there, Mr. Larry, me and
Mm,
you wouldn't be talking right now. Because when the strokes happened, I fell on the ground. I couldn't move. I felt my face drooling. I knew something was going on, and I felt like I think I'm having a stroke. Luckily, he was there because I couldn't get to a phone.
yeah.
And as most of us know, if you have a stroke, the longer it takes for you to get care, the worse off you're going to be. So I'm so happy that he was there. So I'm saying all that to say, he's my hero.
Yeah.
My oldest son, I call him my hero. He doesn't accept it, but he's my hero. So obviously, we were already had a great relationship, but we're even closer now. Even though we don't talk every day and things like that, we're here because I
Yeah.
know if he hadn't been there. Another thing when it comes to my children, Mr. Larry, is that when I had the clock moved in my brain for the second time, which is why I had the 3 strokes in 24 hours, that's when my body really just failed. Everything, my left side debilitated, and the room, I blacked out. I can hear things, but I just blacked out. And I can remember saying to myself, "Man, I'm about to die right now. This is it." And I didn't think about my money. I didn't think about my house. I didn't think about my career. You know what I thought about? I thought about my daughter at that time. She was only 6 years old.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, we haven't even been to Disneyland yet. Man, we haven't done this yet.
Mm,
Man, I haven't taken her to get her nails done yet. Man, I
mm.
haven't done this or that with her. Yeah, I literally remember thinking about those things. And therefore, when I came through, Mr. Larry, I was even more dedicated to making sure that I create moments with her. Yes, the money is great, being able to get her, get blah, blah, blah. That's great. but the moments, the times now we get to have. And even yesterday, we spent some time. We like to go to Starbucks. So that's our thing. We go to Starbucks, and we spent time at the beach. We've been to, Las Vegas. We've been to Seattle. We've done a lot of daddy-daughter trips. Mr. Larry, they are so important to me, those moments now, because I do understand that in the next minute I can be out of here.
Yeah.
And it used to be a cliche, Mr. Larry,
Yeah.
but when you live it, when you really been there, like
It's real.
you can be here today and gone today. Yeah, I've actually lived that. So
You know it.
when it comes to my children, my children, brother, I embrace the opportunities to spend time with them more. I send random texts now, more than before. Just, hey, I love you, whatever, things like that. And yeah, man, it's been a blessing.
That's a good thing, man. And I see the time you spend with your baby girl, man. And I think man, it's a beautiful thing, man. I just see, I've just watched her grow, man, just through you, man. I've seen
Yeah,
that.
but here's the deal, Mr. Larry. Here's the deal. You may not realize it, and I tell Mr. Self this and Mr. Mike Humes this as well. You guys set an example. You're an example to me, man. Like when we met each other back in the early 2000s, I saw your lifestyle, what you were doing. I think I met your kids back then and whatnot. I'm watching. Yeah, I'm doing my thing, but I'm watching you as well. My daughter wasn't around when we met, right? So
Right.
I think we met in 02, 03. My daughter wasn't born to 2008.
Yeah.
So thank you, man. Thank you for everything that you've done. You've been so instrumental in my life, right? And I
Yeah.
really mean that. And I'm hoping that you use this cut when you put this episode out. People need to really know how special a person you are to not only myself, but to hundreds, if not thousands of other people as well. I live a certain type of lifestyle. It's been enhanced because of my connection to you. You see, I've been able to hear certain teachings or have a certain posture because I was able to watch you. And I've seen you during great times, and I've seen you through so-so times. One
Worse
thing
than
that's
so.
remained one thing that's remained the same, man. You've always had a certain regalness about you, smoothness, regardless of what was going on, gracefulness, humility. But at the same time, you go get it. You go get it. You're like a quiet storm, man. You go get it. And I just thank you, man, just being an example for me, brother. And I'm so glad I survived that we can continue our relationship.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that so much. Tell me something. How has faith, uh, how important has that been in your journey? And not just in surviving, but in really rediscovering your identity?
And Mr. Larry, I'm gonna say something. You be proud of me. What I mean by that
I already am.
is, man, I really mean this, man. I want to say this to your audience. And I know a lot of you are already doing this. But there's something about growing up in church, hearing the word, reading the word, uh, not perfect as a person, but still believing in the divine plan for my life, and actually going through some adverse situations in my life and really sticking to it, really continuing to be in the hospital, but making sure my tithing got to the church, or making sure I still, donated to certain organizations, that I still gave to people. Why? Because I'm so thankful and grateful for what God has done for me, right? And I'm so happy. I really lived it. I didn't fake the funk, Mr. Larry. You know what I mean? I didn't play with it. I really leaned on my faith. And it all started with gratefulness. Even when I was laid up in the hospital, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for your blessings. And you know what? I don't want more, but if you have more for me, then so be it. Let your will be done. And so I believe the reason that I came through, Mr. Larry, and the same thing you came through, adverse situations you came through, is because you made so many, what I like to call them, deposits into your faith, our faith, right? That and serve so many other people that those blessings added all, they just added up. They just deposits, just adding up. So when you go through a situation where you need some help, a blessing, he just pouring them out the window. Why? Because you got a surplus. You see what I'm saying? And so I wanted to make sure I didn't abandon the ship when it came to my faith as well at that time, and I did not do that. And that's why I'm here today, thriving instead of just surviving through the situation. So I'm closer, and I'm happy that I was led to my faith as a youth.
Yeah. So what was it about the elementary school Terrance that led to, we always talk about connecting the dots and the lines, and you just alluded a little bit to that just earlier, because everything has its place, and we've seen some of that in your story so far. But this, let's go way back to elementary school, Terrance, and what are things that happened, maybe good or not? You didn't feel they were good at the time, but what are things that happened that are a part of the story that make you who you are today?
Um, Wonderful question, brother. I'm gonna let you know right now. I was a black sheep. I was a black sheep in my family.
How so?
I was raised by my biological aunt at the age of 2. The reason being is because my father passed away while I was still in the womb.
Mm.
My mother was going through some things, so she asked her sister to watch me for a little while,
Mm-hmm.
and I ended up with her, and she ended up adopting me, and I know her as mom. I still had a relationship with my biological mother, but I was raised by my aunt. And I say the black sheep was because of this. I had another younger brother that came after me. And I just felt like he was treated differently than I was. I felt like I was, by my family at that time, I wasn't handsome back then. And so, I used to get talked about. I was a little crispy back then, a little nappy head, dark kid. And so basically, I just felt like I was always, left behind, given less gifts or money. Um, do I feel like I was less loved? No, I don't mean I feel that.
Yeah.
But I just felt that I wasn't treated like some other folks were in my family. I felt
Right.
like, so what that did, it just built up a resilience and some pride in who I was starting to become. And because of that pride, Mr. Larry, I believe that when I went through the situation, any adverse situation, I was a teenage father, strokes, I can go on and on. But I always had so much pride in wanting to show up for myself and not look bad that it pushed me to excellence. It pushed me to try to look the best that I can, to speak the best that I can, to get the best grades that I can, to play the best, to referee the best. I tried to do all of that stuff, and it's all started as a youth being treated as I felt at that time, like the black sheep
Like you weren't good
of the
enough.
family, and that kind of pushed me to be more than others. How about that?
Well, what do you think is made the difference in you having that not good enough feeling or whatever, and someone else who goes a different path? And I'm sure that, you grew up with around guys that went a different way, you know?
Yes.
And because I mean, I had friends and I was like that. I thought about the way I walked. I thought about the way I talked. I grew up in the South, but I didn't want to sound like a country boy when I talked,
Yeah.
so I thought about those things and I walked and I thought, okay, let me walk with my shoulders back. And I thought about that as a kid.
That's right.
And so, but then, and I was thinking about it today. I was thinking about how I had my best friend in middle school was shot. He didn't die, but he was shot. My best friend in high school was killed. In a drug situation. But I was going a different way. And when I think about you talking about that, what do you think is some of the reasons or the difference that you went that way, the way you did, as opposed to the other way?
Okay, there's two things. Um, and they may apply to you as well. One, we innately we are chosen to have something in us. We don't know why. We don't even understand it when we're young, but there's something deep inside you, Mr. Larry, and with myself, that said that we're supposed to be great. Not everybody has that, but it was in you back then. It was something that said, there's something in, I'm supposed to be somebody, whether you saw examples on television, maybe you had educators, maybe people in your life. There's something, and I've always felt that there's something in me that's just different, that's just special. So that's one. So we just had that, and I'm gonna say that is God put something in there.
Yeah,
Said, Mr. Larry, I got plans for you. There's something you're supposed to do or be, and you visualize it in your brain, and that helped you make some pivots in your life. Two, at that time, back in my youth, and yes, I grew up with the gangbangers, the drug dealers, so forth and so on, and I saw a few of them get killed. I didn't see it, but my friends, right? So number two is the fear of death. I didn't want to die. I didn't want to do it. You know what I'm saying?
I
I
do
didn't
know
want to
what
get
you're saying.
shot. Go ahead. You were saying
No,
something?
I say I do know what you're saying.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? So you saw those examples. You saw, I'm not gonna call them examples. You saw those things happen. And you didn't want that to happen to you. You want to live a long life. You're right. You wanted to get to, the 60 years old that you are right now, looking good. You know what I'm saying? You wanted to get here. So that was me, Mr. Larry. I had a fear of, I didn't want to die. I didn't want to go to jail or none of that stuff. And
Yeah,
so that just, he led me into athletics and ran into some mentors that kind of kept me on the straight and narrow. But those are the two things, Mr. Larry, to answer your question.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Again, I felt something in me that I'm supposed to be great, supposed to do more. And two, I had a fear of dying, and fear of being incarcerated.
I got it. I got it. So look, if someone is listening or watching right now that's going through something, maybe not a stroke, but a major life hit, what's the first mindset shift they need to make to start rebuilding?
I always tell people there's an acronym I use. I actually wrote it in my book. I believe it's called Reset. 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 Right? You go through something in your life, whether it's a you lost your job, you have a health situation, someone dies in your family, anything that brings you down, anything that makes you feel like you got to stop, you got to quit, you feel stagnant, whatever, anything you go through, I say try this formula to reset, okay? And one is rest. See, I did this through this came from my stroke. Again, we're talking about those parallels. Rest. What I mean by that is just stop and realize what's going on. Don't try to fix everything right now. See, I have to tell myself, man, I'm a Division I athlete. I'm this and that. No, I'm not waiting. I'm not waiting around in this hospital. I'm about to get up and start walking again. No, sit down, rest, let the body heal, right? Same thing when we go through situations. We need to stop and think. The E in the reset is evaluate. Evaluate where you are. All right, this is the situation. I got to embrace it. That can be the E as well, right? I got to embrace it and let me evaluate how I'm going to get through this thing. I can remember laying in a hospital bed, again, talk about those parallels, and evaluating where I was. All right, I'm 44 years old. I had a stroke. I can't move. Luckily, I have a career, so all of my bills is gonna get paid. So good. So that's good. All right, so now I can focus on just healing. So I'm just gonna pray, try to be kind, but still give off that good energy, so forth. Just really evaluating where I was, right? The S, then it was strategize. The S stands for strategize. Whatever you're going through, you rested, you evaluated where you are. Now let's strategize how you're going to get back. So as I lay in the hospital, I said, hey, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I can start walking again. Okay, from there, they told me once I'm done with therapy here, I have to do it at home. So let me order some weights because I didn't have no weights at my home because I knew I was going to be there. Let me order a bench. Let me get some weights. I just started strategizing, Mr. Larry, of how I'm going to get through this situation. I do the same thing in corporate America, in direct sell. Everything I go through, I strategize how I'm going to deal with this situation. The E, the next E, the second E, is expectancy, high expectancy. I expected to win, man. No matter what I'm going through, I'm expecting, I'm going to come through. I'm going to be, this is why I have the videos of me walking, the videos of my face, the pictures, all of the stuff that I had it because I knew in my mind, I was expecting to win. And I said, this needs to be documented. This needs to be documented. We got to take the video of me trying to learn how to walk. Take the picture, do all of that stuff, right? Having high expectancy to win, no matter what you're going through. And you do the same thing. You may have ups and downs in your business, but you have a high expectancy that things are going to happen for you. You're very optimistic, and that's the key. And the T, take action, man. So reset, rest, evaluate, strategize, expectancy. Then you got to take action. We got to execute. See, we can do all this talking that we want. People can listen to your podcast all they want. They can jot down some notes and jot down nuggets. Doesn't matter if you're not taking action on those things. Take action on the things. I took action back in 2015 of what I heard Jim Rohn say back in 2002, or what I heard Jeff Olson say in his book, The Slight Edge, what I heard Darnell Self say from the stage in 2009. You know, I said, when I went through these situations, I said, let's take action with these things. Let's not abandon the ship. Let's actually use this stuff. So long answer to your short question.
No, that was great, man. That was superb.
Reset.
That was the call to action right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The call
yes, sir.
to action. So what
Yes,
do you
sir.
do daily or weekly for yourself to protect your peace, your mind, and your purpose?
Brother, I'm all about stacking wins. That's in my post right now. I'm either talking about discipline, self-mastery, or stacking wins. That's what I'm on right now. What's stacking the win? You know what? When I make up my bed in the morning, get the day started right by making my bed, that's a W for me. Making sure I drink my water the first thing in the morning, that's a win for me. Make sure I take in some protein versus some sugar the first thing, right? Sending a text to someone of encouragement or whatnot, that's a win for me. Obviously, we know the big wins that happen, you know, the big bonuses at work, things like that, executive director, so forth. So that's the big stuff. We know that we got to stack these little wins in order for the big thing to happen. First, I just posted something about the reason why we have quantum leaps in our lives, in our business, is because they're just small wins that we just stacked on each other. We learned something from it. Momentum happened, and we're able to take our lives to the next level, right? It's the same thing. Right now, I'm all about stacking wins. See, me being on this podcast with you, for me, for this day, that's a win for me. You see, that's what helps keep me feeling like I'm contributing to this world. Yeah. I'm contributing to myself when I hit the gym this morning, right? A number of things, but it's all about stacking these wins. Yeah. And how can I serve somebody else? Well, how can I serve somebody else? My brother calling me saying, hey, man, I want you on my podcast. Look, man, I'm a busy guy. I got stuff going on, and you definitely know what it is, and you're busy as well. But you know what, man? I got to stop. I got to contribute to this brother. I got to contribute to his audience. That's a win for me. That helps keep my peace. I love
Well,
that.
hey, it's a win for me too, brother. As a matter of fact, I'm like, man, I feel like I went to the lake, man, and I pulled out the big fish this time. I pulled out the big one. I pulled out the trophy fish, man. I can show it to everybody, man. I'm excited about this very much. I know that you're doing a lot of things and building a legacy for yourself, for your family, and I know you think about that as a father. So if your kids could only remember one thing about how you handled the adversity, varying adversities in your life, what would you want that to be?
I would want them to take away from my life an optimistic mindset that no matter what was going on, I remained optimistic. I always felt like the best is yet to come. As a matter of fact, I have a keynote series that's called Beyond Your Best. Why? Because I believe that beyond your best is yet to come. See, Mr. Larry, the best is yet to come would be me recovering from the strokes and kind of living the average life. You know,
Yeah.
it's cool. That's all great. But no, brother, I've gone beyond my best. Is there more to come? Absolutely. But I just feel like what I've done since that situation is beyond. And it's
Yeah.
because I kept an optimistic mindset that even through setbacks, as Willie Jolly says, setback is just an opportunity right for a comeback or a
Set up.
setup for a
Set
comeback,
up.
right?
Right.
I truly believe that, Mr. Larry. And I
Yeah.
hope my kids take that from me is to have an optimistic mindset, not rosy glasses, no, but just, hey, I'm gonna take this hit on the jaw and I know it's coming and
Yeah.
that's okay. But I know after that, I'm gonna be better and grow from it.
You can get through it, right?
Absolutely.
So lastly, what's next for Terrance Minnoy? I mean, what are you building or becoming now that we haven't seen yet?
I've been leaving some uh, some fuel in the gas tank that I shouldn't. And every day I'm talking to myself about why am I waiting? Why am I procrastinating? I have this in me. Why do I have these insecurities about myself? I have to work on that stuff. So the first thing is first is that you're going to start seeing more boldness from me. And we've talked about it on the phone before as well. Even for you, right? This is different for you, right? In the last year, putting yourself on camera.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I know some people see us speaking in front of an audience and they think getting in front of the camera, that's easy. No, it's not. I don't, I'm I hesitate sometimes when I'm getting ready to post something because of my insecurity,
Yeah.
right? But now my mindset, I'm working on being more bold. I wish I had my goals up here. Matter of fact, give me a second. And I know you say this is the last thing, but my goals are right here. But anyway, my goals, one of my last ones, boldly build assets and visibility
Hmm.
with my business, with my legal shield business, and with my career as well. I want to be more bold. So I said all that to say, what's next? More content that I'm just gonna be putting out, and I'm gonna stop thinking all the time. Oh, it's not perfect. Skip it. Just put it out there. So what? Right? So that's it. Next, I want to get this second book out. I have Indifferent Strokes. I wrote it a few years back. It's a new book. It's called Tin Man, and it has a subtitle to it as well. It's about self-mastery and leadership. And it's Tin Man because my nickname when I was coming up as a youth was Tin Man in my family because of my old Big Mama. That was the nickname she gave me. So
Why?
anyway, I'm gonna get this book out.
You know
I
I
want
got
to.
it. You know you're gonna have to come back and tell me
Oh, almost
why.
definitely. Oh yeah,
Why
man. Look,
Tin
you're gonna
Man?
be the first. You will be the first podcast when I come out with this book. Okay. The goal is this fall or winter. That's the goal to have it done. Um, the next was coming for me. as well is I build my speaking business on a part-time basis. I speak about 10 to 15 times a year, just depends. And I want to take that up a notch and get a little more and just start serving more people, start making more impact. I want to do that. And also, I want to be great in corporate America. I have a great career that I absolutely love, and I've been very intentional about being great there. And that's been a blessing, especially this first quarter of the year. I just want to continue that. So all that in a nutshell, Mr. Larry, what I want to do is I want to continue, I want to inspire not only myself, but individuals, right, to live, to reach their highest human potential. I want to reach my highest human potential and performance, right? My highest human potential and performance. I want to contribute to this world at a level that the good Lord has put for me to do. I want to max out, man. I want to max out. I'm not saying I want to work all the time, work myself to death and this and that. No, I don't want to do that. But the moments, the time that I have to be a servant leader, I want to make sure I max that out and use my story as much as possible because God didn't bring me through this situation for me to keep it to myself.
No,
So this is why I'm using it, brother. So
I
that's
always
next for me.
I always say that our challenges and adversities are not just for us, but they're for others as well. You know,
Absolutely, man.
what last word can you give to this audience? What's the last word you want to leave for this audience?
Beyond your best is yet to come. I'm gonna repeat that. Beyond your best is yet to come. The key is that we remain optimistic. I know that's tough right now with our current situation in America, with politics, with the things that's going on in our community, so forth and so on. I want you to remain optimistic and understand that beyond your best is still yet to come. This is a test. And look, I know we heard it as a cliche all of our lives. It's just a test. Take it from someone who had a great lifestyle, and all of a sudden I was fighting for my life just out of the blue. See, it's no longer a cliche for me. I've lived it. So, what you want to do is remain optimistic that the best is still yet to come. But at the same time, it's not going to come if you're just standing still waiting for it to happen. It all starts with you. You must become the best version of yourself.
Mhm.
You must continue to work on you. Self-mastery must become a priority in your life. Mastering your job is fine. Mastering your career, hey, that's great. We need the best you. You can't leave fuel in the tank when it comes to your own personal development and personal growth. If you master that, everything else will come together. The storm that's going on around you, you won't even flinch too much at it because you're so engulfed in self-mastery. Your emotional resilience will be at an all-time high. It will be so high that no one can touch you. It's like it's a poem called the Optimist Creed. It says to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind. You know, to make all of your friends feel like there is something special in them, right? And it goes on. And so read that poem at some point. It's called the Optimist Creed. So that's what I'll leave your audience with, Mr. Larry.
Yeah.
Remain optimistic. Beyond your best is yet to come. Self-mastery is key. I probably spend most of the things that I do every day, even with work, is me working on myself, me challenging myself, me trying to tweak things a little bit better so that when I go home or I lay my head down at night, I can say, hey, you know what? I grew today. I challenged myself today. I was optimistic today. I served somebody today,
Yeah.
right? And so that's what I will leave your audience with, Mr. Larry.
Hey, yeah. Hey,
Obviously,
yeah.
you know, I can go on and on and on, man. I'm a talker, you know that.
That's
But
okay.
I'm gonna
Hey,
stop
listen, no,
right there,
I
man.
listen, man. This is good. This is good. Just tell us where we can find you.
Man, you can find me on all platforms. Miracle Minnoy Motivation. On whether it's what is it, IG, Facebook. You can find me at Terrance Minnoy as well. You can find me there. TikTok. I play around on TikTok as well. You can find me there as well. I got a YouTube page now that I always tell people it's trash because it's so old. I'm getting ready to create a new YouTube where I really put some sound messages out for people, but you can find me there as well. You can always reach out to me on my website as well, terranceminnoy.com. And you can see what I talk about. You can see me in action on stage as well. And I'm just looking to get better and improve, man. And I just really want to be on the world stage speaking at some point in some time and continue to serve, man.
Hey, my friend, this has been a tremendous joy, a tremendous honor, a tremendous pleasure. It's just I'm so excited, man. I know that we're 2,000 miles away apart from each other right now, but man, I feel like you're right next to me, man. And
Look, man, Mr. Larry, I'm so glad we're able to do this, man. We've been talking about this for a while. I'm proud of you. I know what what it's like to step out like this and do what you're doing. But look, man, you've been a superstar in everything that you've done from your FedEx days to now. You know what I'm saying? So, look, you got this. Continue on. Don't worry about the views. Don't worry about the like. Don't worry about that. You just keep serving. You just keep doing it, brother. Keep doing it. And that's why I always want to take time when I see some of your posts, brother, to make sure I take time to listen and check you out, brother. So thank you for having me. And I hope your audience got something out of our conversation today.
oh, there's no doubt. So, hey, listen, I'm gonna jump on off of here, and I'm just gonna tell all of you out there to just keep adapting, keep adjusting, keep growing, and keep reaching for those higher heights. Mr. Terrance Minnoy, thank you, my friend. You all have a great day. Take care, take charge. God bless. We'll see you next time.
Sir.